What is up, guys? My name is Lex. Another car intro for you guys. We just arrived here to Jacksonville, Florida because tonight we're playing a live stream. It's a 5-10 game, $5,000 buy-in for us. We traveled all the way from Fort Lauderdale up here. It was about a 4.5-hour drive. I'm a little bit late. I'm about 5 or 10 minutes late, but we're going to get in there. Hopefully we can run good. Let's go. It has been a few months since I've been back here to Bet Jacksonville, but I really enjoy playing at this place. The staff is great, the players are fun, and the games are action. Starting off here, first hand, under the gun +1 raises to $100. Folds to the big blind, who 3-bets to $400. I get my complimentary beer, and I look down at pocket tens in the straddle. Interesting spot. I feel like my hand is too strong to fold here, even though it's an early position raise and a big blind 3-bet. I feel like I can cold call, considering that under the gun +1's probably not going to be 4-betting very often unless he's got kings and aces. So I decide to cold call here with pocket tens. Under the gun +1 calls, and we go 3 ways to our first flop, which is 6-5-3, 2 diamonds. We flop a decent overpair on this board. I'm mostly concerned about the big blind player who put in a big 3-bet squeeze pre-flop. He can have an overpair here, but when he checks, I feel pretty good about my pocket tens. I'm not going to slow play here multi-way on a connected wet board. I put out a $600 bet. Action over here on under the gun +1, who has a pretty easy call, but somehow he finds the fold here with pocket nines. Ace-king folds as well, and we win the first pot here with pocket tens. Next up, there's a cutoff raise to $100 over a $25 straddle. Big blind calls 100, and I get upgraded now to kings in the straddle. I bump it up here to $400 and get 2 calls from my opponents. 3 ways to jack, 7, jack, 2 spades. Big blind checks over to me. I could c-bet small on this board, or I could check. I decide to check over to the cutoff, who stabs out $400 on this flop. Big blind makes a very quick call for $400, and the action's back over on me. Somewhat of a dicey situation here on this board. I don't really want to call $400 and go multi-way out of position on the turn. I don't really want to raise because the stack sizes are a little bit awkward. It's possible someone could have flopped trips or pocket sevens, but I feel like with all this dead money in the pot, with not much money behind, I'm just going to go with my hand. If they got me beat, they got me beat. I can get called by a lot of worse hands, so I jam all in. Around $3,000 effective. I can balance this out by jamming all in with my straight and flush combo draws as well. Back over to the cutoff, who's got pocket tens, and he finds the fold. Wow, great fold by him. Ace-10 folds as well. We take down $1,600. Results oriented, looking at these hands. I could have made a little bit more by just calling, but you never know what would have happened on the turn or the river. We win another small pot here with pocket kings. 2 for 2 so far on the day. The double straddles on in this hand, blinds at 5, 10, 25, 50, and kings again for me. Under the gun +1, I raise to 150. Cutoff makes the call for 150 before the big blind player squeezes here to $500. Somewhat of a small sizing out of position for a 3-bet. Of course, with pocket kings, second best hand you can get pre-flop, we've got to put in another raise, especially with the cutoff player cold calling here behind me. I don't want to make it too big. Want to make it sizing that he can call with worse hands. So I 4-bet here to $1,200. Back over to the cutoff, who folds pocket sevens, but the big blind makes the call here with ace-queen. And just like that, 4-bet pot, heads up, in position with pocket kings, to 7, 3, 6, 2 clubs. All in all, I feel like it's a pretty great board. I think when he 3-bets and then calls my 4-bet out of position, he's going to have hands like pocket jacks, pocket queens, ace-king, and ace-queen. I'm going to bet big on this flop, trying to get him to call with those hands and then jamming all in for $3,000 on the turn. I fire out a $1,000 bet. My plan here is to bet call if he does decide to go all in. If he slow played aces pre-flop, he's going to get us. I don't think he ever has a straight 2-pair or a set on this board. I don't have the king of clubs, so he can easily have king, queen of clubs, ace, king of clubs. We're rooting for some money to be put in this pot, but my opponent just has ace high. Eventually, Jimmy makes the fold, and we win another one here with pocket kings. 3 for 3, running pretty hot so far in this session, up around $3,000 so far. Moving on, where we get dealt in another big pocket pair, I'm going to let you guys sweat the action with me by blurring out my opponent's hands. $50 straddle on Russ limps for $50. Jimmy raises to $150 in the cutoff, and I have pocket queens now in the big blind. Easy, standard 3-bet spot, 4x to $600. The other players fold, back over here to Jimmy, who counts out $600, and then puts in a yellow $1,000 chip and 4-bets me to $1,650 back over to me. Wow, interesting spot here with pocket queens. I then start to dissect this hand. It's an early position call from Russ, and then Jimmy just makes it $150, which seems a little bit suspicious, kind of a small raise. Also, Jimmy had been limping and limp calling a lot so far this session, so for him to raise and then re-raise my 3-bet does scream a lot of strength. But I've got pocket queens, the third best hand you can get in No Limit Hold'em. Could he have jacks or 10s here? Could he have ace king? Maybe ace 5 suited for a bluff? After more and more thought about the small preflop raise, his passiveness preflop, and now showing a bunch of aggression, I feel like he's going to have aces and kings here a lot of the time. Possibly ace king. Now pocket queens are shriveling up here. Should we call and set mine? Should we go all in and try to flip against ace king and see all 5 cards? I really don't know what to do. I don't want to make a wrong fold on a crazy Florida live stream. I folded queens before incorrectly. I don't know. It's a tough one.
Obviously, we want to see big pot.
Right.
I'm definitely going back and rewatching here, but I'm going to exchange the one I like more silver.
Gonna look at it one more time.
He does,
wow.
does let it go.
Great fold by Lexo.
I'm not surprised
Yeah.
that he let it go. I think
It's a tough laydown.
Yeah,
it is a tough
it's
laydown.
very tough laydown. But I think to your point, you pointed it out. This is the first time Jimmy 4-bet all night.
Oof, we escaped a cooler on that one. Queens versus aces in a $50 straddle pot. I felt like the way Jimmy was playing, he likes to bet big on the flop. If it came out all low cards, I'd feel almost pot committed. So I think my options were just go all in and fold, and I decided to make a very tight fold here with pocket queens. And somehow our read was correct for once, and he had pocket aces. Nice hand by Jimmy, taking down over $700 profit in this hand. We are now 3 hours into this 5-hour live stream, profiting $3,200 so far. Everything's been going our way. We've gotten some big hands. We've held up. We made a big fold with pocket queens. I've been playing a lot of hands as well. 31% of the hands I'm dealt in, I play. I haven't really shown you guys all those hands because some of them are non-significant, but we're up here in Jacksonville trying to give some action in this crazy game, and action we do give and get in the hands coming up next. Moving on here, Russ puts on the $50 straddle even though he's not at the table. Nicky under the gun +1 with a short stack of $1,700 raises to $200. Back over to me in the small blind with ace king of clubs, the premium of all premium hands. I would go big here, like $800 on my re-raise, but given the fact that Russ is behind me, I'm going to go a little bit smaller in case he calls $500. And then Nicky jams for $1,700. It'll reopen the action for me to re-jam here with ace king of clubs. Russ has king 10 offsuit and thinks about it for a little bit of time, but eventually folds. Nicky goes all in with ace queen. We snap call, and we run out this board one time where we miss the flop. We pick up a flush draw on the turn, and we hit the flush on the river and end up winning over $3,000 in a pot here. Ace King versus Ace Queen. I started making poker vlogs in Florida about 2.5 years ago, right after the coronavirus pandemic, and my channel exploded very quickly, gaining thousands and tens of thousands of views and subscribers. Now that I'm on episode number 201, my subscriber count has kind of plateaued. I've been stuck at around 50,000 subscribers for the last 6 months, and I'm trying to change that. My goal is to get to 60,000 subscribers in the next 2 months. I need you guys to help me. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Share this to your friends. Help me get up to that 60,000 subscriber goal mark. All right, back over to the hands now. Folds to me on the dealer button. I've got 8-9 suited. A beautiful hand I raised to $100. I get 3-bet by the big blind to another small suspicious sizing of $275. Well, We're pretty deep stacked, over $6,000 effective. Definitely not going to be folding such a beautiful hand like 8-9 of spades, so I call, and we go heads up here to ace-5 deuce with 1 heart. The big blind who 3-bet me pre-flop decides to check on this board. I feel like once he 3-bets pre-flop and checks on this flop, he's either going to have nothing at all like king or queen high, or he's going to have hands like pocket 10s, jacks, queens, and kings. I could bet or check this flop. I like to check and hit a pair on the turn, 9 of spades. Now the big blind who checked the flop, 3-bet pre-flop leads out for $250. Feel like his range is going to consist of jacks, queens, and kings that he was scared of the ace on the flop, and then also some bluffs like king, queen of spades, king, jack of spades, queen, jack of spades, jack, 10 of spades. I'm going to call here with my 9, looking to potentially improve and maybe even bluff on the river if the board comes out scary. We could also have the best hand here with a pair as well. And when the final card's a 3 of clubs, very interesting one. Any 4 now makes a straight. I'm very confident my opponent's going to check here. Now I have to decide whether I want to bluff with my 9 or if I want to just check and get to showdown. But surprisingly enough, the big blind continues to bet on this river for $700. This is a big bet on this board, and immediately I am just confused of what is going on here. If he did have a hand like ace queen or ace king, wouldn't he be betting the flop with that hand? I don't think he would ever be going this sizing on the river when I could easily have 2 pairs. I could have a straight as well. If he possibly had queens or kings or jacks, I highly doubt he's betting this sizing as well. He could have some bluffs here, but is he bluffing on this run out? I don't know. I'm very confused about this hand. Given the fact that a 4 makes a straight, he really should never have a 4 in his range. He's very polarized to basically having top set of aces or a bluff. I beat all of his bluffs like his missed flush draws. I'm obviously losing to pocket aces. This one's pretty close. Given the fact that my opponent is up money on the session makes me want to fold, but given the fact that it's a live stream and people like to try to bluff, makes me want to call, and eventually after about a minute and a half of thinking, I do come up with my decision.
Wow, and he's going to put in the call, masterfully played by Dos Nachos here.
Wow.
Bink. Yep, aces or nothing, exactly.
Ew, as you can hear me say, aces or nothing, and he did fact have pocket aces. That suspicious small 3-bet pre-flop, the check on the flop with top set, and the complete value ownage by my opponent. Not happy with the way I played this hand. Could have just easily folded the river, but I leveled myself and lost another $700.
I was thinking it was either set or nothing, just like Alexo said.
After playing poker for so many years, I really don't get mad, tilted, or upset if I'm running bad or getting coolered. What I do get upset about is misplaying hands, and I feel like in this situation versus this player type, he was up money in the session. He's probably just never bluffing there. Should have just folded, but oh well, what can you do? Just got to try to play better next time. We do get into an interesting spot here, though. Under the gun +1, I got 6-7 suited. I raised to $75. I get 4 callers, and I flop an open-ended straight draw on an ace-high board. Given the fact that I am multi-way on a connected board, I decided to check, just trying to pot control here, maybe hit my hand and get a free turn card until Russ puts out a $150 bet. Jimmy folds, action back over on me. Feel like Russ can be stabbing here with a wide range of hands. Hands including a 5, an 8, gutshot straight draws, backdoor flush draws, 3 high. Russ loves to get in there, so I decided to check raise with my open-ended straight draw, make it $450, trying to get him to fold out those middling to lower hands that he has. It doesn't work though when he makes a snap call with bottom pair, but we bink the turn with the 4 of clubs. Holy crap, I have to re-look at the board and count in my head 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, I made a straight, $1,200 in the middle. I bet out $1,100 and get snap called again by Russ. I am praying for a clean river here so I can bet big, and we do get a clean one. It's the king of clubs. We have the absolute stone cold nuts here, and I'm going to bet big. From what I played with this player, it doesn't seem like he likes to fold, especially not top pair holdings. I'm hoping he's got top pair like ace 10, ace 9, maybe even two pair. I slide out 2 stacks of $2,000 worth of black chips, a $4,000 bet. Getting greedy here and overbet, thinking that he's either going to have a top pair holding or a missed flush draw. And we're trying to go for the max against that top pair holding. As you can see, Russ just has a 5. He looks at his chips, looks back at me, sucks on his little red sucker, and then folds. Good fold by Russ. We end up winning back all the money that we punted off there with 8-9 of hearts in this hand, plus a little bit more. Everything is going pretty nice so far on our day trip up to Jacksonville, Florida. I'm in the game for $5,000, sitting on over $11,000. That is plus $6,000 on the day. I will take it. In this hand, the blinds are at 5, 10, 25 straddle, $50 restraddle, and I throw out the black chip triple straddle for $100. Russ calls $100. Don calls $100. Todd calls $100, and I've got King 10 of hearts in the triple straddle and decide to play some big bet poker and raise squeeze up here to $600. Russ folds, Don calls, which surprises me, and Todd folds as well. Don is my least favorite player to play against on this live stream just because he makes me look super weak, pale, and skinny up against him. We go heads up here to the flop of 9, 7, deuce, 2 spades. When Don calls $100 and then calls my raise, I think a lot of the time he's going to have middling pocket pairs like pocket 5s through pocket 9s. I think I should be c-betting on this flop, but given the fact that Don has been playing pretty snug so far this session, he could easily have hit a set on this board. I don't have a heart for a backdoor flush draw. I decided to give up and just check behind. Turn 4 of spades, another ugly card for King 10 of hearts, could also improve him to a set. If Don bets here, I'll be folding, but he checks to me for a second time. Now I feel like after 2 checks on this board, it could be a spot. I could try to start betting and maybe potentially double barrel. I look back at my cards, pretending like I'm looking for a spade, but I know I have 2 red cards. I decide to bet small here, $350, and Don comes along with a call. Obviously, we do not like this. Was hoping for a fold, but when the river card is the 3 of spades, I feel like this could be a spot where I'm just going to have to go for it here. If I did have a hand like ace, king with the ace or king of spades, obviously I would play it maybe just like this. I could have king, queen with the queen of spades, maybe king, jack with the jack of spades. I would want to go for value here with a flush on the river. Now the pot is $2,000. I could bet huge and polarize myself to having the ace high flush or nothing at all, or I could go a medium sizing. The sizing I would go with the queen high flush, the king high flush, and the ace high flush. So that's what I decided to do. I bet $900, really just trying to target his hands like pocket 6s, pocket 8s, possibly his weaker spade X hands. And luckily for us though, Don's got ace 10 of clubs, no spade, he makes to fold, and we do take this one down with king 10 of hearts. We get a nice bluff through at the end of the night, which ends up being it for us. After 5 hours of playing, 4.5 hours of driving, we cash out for the night for a massive profit of over $7,000. This is the face of an exhausted poker player. I just pulled a 15-hour day today. Earlier, I drove 4.5 hours from South Florida up to Jacksonville Best Bet, played 5 hours on a live stream, drove straight back tonight. It's now 4 a.m. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. The video you guys watched just a couple days ago, the 10, 25, 50 game where I cashed out for over $35,000, that was just last night. So last night I played till like 3:30 a.m., slept 5 hours, drove up there today, played a bunch of hours on a live stream, drove back today. I'm home, I'm exhausted, but it was worth it though. We ended up winning $7,600 tonight on the live stream. I was in for 5,000. I ran basically as good as you could possibly run on a live stream. I won a lot of small to medium sized pots. I held up with my big pocket pairs, 4-bet pocket kings won that pot. I made a really tight fold with pocket queens, but it ended up being right when I was up against pocket aces. I just had a read that he wasn't 4-betting light, felt like he had aces or kings, and just didn't feel like set mining out of position against that player. I don't know. I mean, if I would have hit a queen, I could have won a huge pot, but I just folded queens pre-flop and he had aces, so that's always good. I made a bad read though when I hero called in the river in a 3-bet pot with a 9. My opponent had top set, but we got it back. We made a straight, won a bunch of pots, $7,600 profit. Yesterday I won $7,000, almost $15,000 in 2 days. This is the glorious side of poker. This is when poker is so fun. You just rake in the money, you print the money, you come home, you sleep, you relax, and it's great. Now, of course, as you guys have seen, there is the bad side of poker when you lose and you get outdrawn and your aces get cracked and your kings get cracked and your sets lose and your flushes lose to full houses and all that shit. That happens as well. I've been through it. You guys have seen it. So it's nice to be on a little bit of an upswing. $15,000 is good. Get me to 60,000 subscribers though. That's my goal. 60,000. I'm up to 53,000 now. Looking to 60. I'm going to go to sleep though. I'm exhausted. It's past 4 a.m. Going to take a nice, easy rest day tomorrow. Hang out with my dog, go out to eat, drink some wine, and relax. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you.